Hey everybody, welcome back. And something we haven't talked about recently is a lot of this DEI push in the video game industry with the consulting agencies and a lot of the activism going on behind the scenes. Now, we have covered it briefly, talking about people like the companies Sweet Baby Inc. and Kim Belair and the journalists like Alyssa Mercante who are doing their best to push an agenda in the games industry. But again, we haven't touched a whole lot recently on the people that are really making changes behind the scenes. Companies like Xbox, who had released previously in March their framework for inclusive game development, which of course Katie Jo Wright, the head of gaming for everyone and sustainability at Xbox, had claimed was not necessarily like a actual mandate or any sort of requirement, but more of a guideline and a framework, kind of a map, if you will, on how people can be more inclusive and representative when they're making games for people who have different lifestyles and disabilities and whatnot. Essentially, when you get down to it, though, when you boil it all down, it is all the same crap that we've seen pushed on people again and again, whether it's moderation of online chat versus, representation or needing to see other identities represented in a game. You've even had people like Elon Musk weighing in on this entire controversy around this Assassin's Creed Shadows game where they're featuring a black protagonist in a Japanese setting, which is very strange. It's a weird choice. And of course, there's a lot more about that that I'll be covering on my gaming channel, but it is a very strange hill to die on for a lot of these game studios, that this is a very important thing to have featured, and if you don't like it, of course, you are the traditional term that they'll use for you, whether it's an ist or a phobe. We're even seeing a push in basically any game that has relationship options, any game that has options available to your character about which relationship you want to pursue, which gender, orientation, whatever. Well, now we're seeing that companies like BioWare, which got the recent trailer released for the Dragon Age Veilguard game, which was not well received by many of us who have played several of the Dragon Age games in the past. This looks like more of a Fortnite Dragon Age mashup. But apparently BioWare confirmed that all the party members are going to be canonically pansexual. Why they don't just say bisexual, I don't know. There's only the two sexual orientations available in the game, so I'm not sure what pansexual has to do with anything. Just say they're all bisexual. But the reality is, this is just sad that they have to push this narrative that basically every person, every character, they're all the same. They're all going to be open to whatever. And again, it's this idea that essentially to have representation, you need to see everybody that looks exactly like you or acts the same way you do, whether it's in your day-to-day activities, your bedroom activities, it's all the same to them. Previously, back in May, we even saw that Activision Blizzard had a little bit of a behind-the-scenes memo that got leaked. That Park Place article went over the fact that they were trying to essentially install a DEI officer on every development team to ensure that the message was propagated. And of course, you can see the little leaked memo that got out here, and Grumps shared it on Twitter, and essentially it's all the same crap you'll see. Work with a number of minority-owned businesses to create experiences for our employees during celebrations and partnerships. It's a lot of DEI crap. A lot of these ideas that if you don't have this push, you're going to have people who get left behind, whether you think it's intentional or not. Well, now today there's been a much, much, much bigger one. Like, this is absolutely mind-boggling, just absolutely staggering. It's huge. So Grums has on Twitter here this tweet that says, this leaked Activision Blizzard DEI 3-year plan is 10 pages long, which is 35 slides of programs, initiatives, streams, panels, hiring processes, development processes, and it is so dense. How do they have time for making games if this is their main focus? And Yellow Flash was kind enough to actually get all of these slides put together in about, I think, 3 separate tweets. And we'll go through some of this real quick here because it is a lot. And I hopefully you guys don't get tune out and start getting bored. I'm going to try to focus on the things that are important, and I know that this is going to sound like a lot of the same garbage that we've heard before, but what you'll notice on this very first panel, they call it the Rundown 2.0. It's their 2023-2024 Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Report. So somebody got paid to assemble this. This is the part that I find fascinating. It's not just that these programs exist, it's that they feel like they need to create a report on how well they've been inclusive and diverse. And of course, the first person featured in the first slide is a black female Call of Duty operator with a pigmentation issue, so that she has a modeled face when it comes to her skin pigmentation. So again, they are hitting all the boxes with this very first slide. And the next one says, our focus on inclusion. At Activision, there's a place for you in our worlds. Whether it's our people, our games, or our reach to future talent, creators, and gamers, we are intentional in centering inclusivity, belonging, community in everything we do. Now, I'm aware of the fact that in many corporations and many, offices and work environments, you do have to be respectful of people's diversity and their backgrounds and keep those in mind when you're going through your day-to-day life. I've recently had to deal with several work situations where people are upset with each other, and I've had to basically say, look, you don't know what somebody else has recently gone through, you don't know where they're coming from, you don't know their experiences, you kind of have to take those into consideration before you fly off the handle. That does not mean the same thing as being diverse, equitable, and inclusive. What I'm talking about is basic human management and people skills and cooperating and learning how to communicate versus pushing an agenda that does not need to exist in the first place. So it goes on to say, whether you are an employee in Arkansas, USA, or Shanghai, China, a veteran gamer who needs hearing accommodations, or a student who dreams of working on the next release of Call of Duty, everyone is included at Activision. Internally, we shape our world to embrace employees for what makes them unique, allowing them to bring their full talents to bear through inclusive hiring and people practices. In our games, we create a vast diversity of worlds and characters for gamers of all ages and backgrounds, while building accessibility features for as many gamers as possible. Externally, we invest in shaping the world of tomorrow through strategic relationships that serve the next generation of employees, creators, and gamers. Sounds like your standard corporate dribble, corporate slop. But the next paragraph is very funny when you look at the things that are highlighted. And I know you guys can't see it on the screen because it's very small writing. My 37-year-old eyes are focusing really hard on this text here. A large body of research proves that diverse teams outperform homogenous teams. Inclusive organizations collaborate better, and investing in equity leads to higher productivity and lower turnover. So think about that one statement. We can go through all the rest of this, but that opening line right there. A body of research proves that diverse teams outperform homogenous teams. I want to know what research they're looking at. I'm not saying that you can't have diversity in an effective team. However, I would argue that if you look at anywhere outside of the US, as far as any foreign country that has a large ethnic, majority of their population, that is the bulk of the population of the society they live in, you're going to tell me that they don't function as well as if they had, completely homogenous groups versus having diverse groups? That is absolutely insane. Go tell that to the Koreans or the Chinese or the Japanese, okay? Tell me that we function at a higher level than the Japanese. I have a big issue with that. So, of course, if you go through the next few slides, it's all the same crap. Global footprint, locations and studios, our people, our reach, evergreen strategy, next generation talent, creators and gamers, supplier diversity. Again, it's all about this diversity stuff. And they, of course, they have their race and gender study. 79% men, 20% women, 1% non-binary, and greater than 1% something else. So you're not man, you're not woman, you're not non-binary, you're something else. Why we track representation and inclusion data? Well, the real reason is because of ESG. They get funding because they're inclusive, because they're diverse. All of this stuff, every slide that you see here, is all about getting a higher ESG score. It's all about impressing these hedge funds and these investment firms in order to get more money and more startup funds and venture capital for all their projects and all their flops. It helps, helps them bounce back when they make a game that sucks and it loses $200 million like the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League did. And you can see here, this is what Call of Duty fans like, right? Guys, I'm sorry, as somebody who's been a lifelong gamer, I played Call of Duty for a while. I quit. The game got to be too cringe, almost as bad as Apex Legends. When you have stuff like Nicki Minaj in the game, and it says inclusive creative process celebrating black culture. Celebrating black culture, and it shows a picture of Nicki Minaj holding a gun. Give me a break, guys. Is that celebrating black culture, really? That sounds really racist, actually, if we boil it down to it. What are you doing, Activision? Anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts down below. I'm curious what you all have to say about this, because this is something that, again, we don't talk as much on this channel about gaming as a whole, or what's going on in the drama surrounding the games industry and the media and the journalists. I kind of tend to have that on the gaming channel because it definitely works better over there. But I think that this ties in very well with a lot of what we have in our political landscape, going on with a lot of the drama behind the scenes with our politics and our elections and societal upheaval as a whole. But again, let me know your thoughts down below. I would love to hear from you guys. Again, thanks for being here. If you liked the video, make sure to like and subscribe if you feel like we earned it. And we will catch you guys on the next one. All right, and if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you for being here. I do have 2 channels, Minimal Effort Podcast, as well as my gaming channel. I do have a Twitch and Kick for my gaming channel. We do live streams over there occasionally, maybe once a week. And then if you are in the market for a new PC, make sure to check out Meta PCs. Click the link I have down below. Use code TBO at checkout for a special discount. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.